Wonderbirds are supported by dogfriendly.co.uk, improving the lives of dogs and their owners.
Hi girls! And can we please welcome our darling friend and co-host, Samantha Renke. Hello, darling.
Hi, Sam.
Hi, Sam. Oh, pleasure to be here. I've got my cup of tea, so as long as my bladder holds out, I'm with you for the duration.
I can't promise the same. I can't promise the same. Before we go on, Samantha, I have to just say, you will have noticed, because we all know, Dee is a chanter. And she's got Buddhas behind her. And I just needed to warn you because sometimes she just goes off on her chanting. Oh, here she goes. She's off again. Okay. What are your feelings about that, darling? No, Dee, matron.
Don't knock it until you try it. Funny enough, I had just received a 4-foot Buddha in our communal terrace where I live. We had a little bit of money left over to spend on some bits and bobs for our tenancy terrace. And one of the tenants wasn't too happy on the Buddha and said that they would prefer a Virgin Mary. So we said, you go get your Virgin Mary. That can be on your side. I want my bloody Buddha. But when the Buddha arrived, it lost its head. It got tipped on its side and it became decapitated. So we had to glue the Buddha back together. But I mean, it is bigger, literally bigger than me. I'm 3 foot nothing. And the Buddha is super, super tall. So now I've got to go out every single morning and do some meditation because I believe it was quite expensive and it was quite a debacle getting it into the blinking terrace. So So I'm all for chanting. I'm with you, Dee. Go chant away.
Thank you, darling.
You don't know what you've just said.
Please don't encourage.
Nobody else don't know what you just said.
Thank you, Sam, darling.
You are our guest this morning, and we'd love you to be a guest again. But if you want to carry on being a guest, not that I'm bribing you, if you
carry on again, chanting.
It's more of a threat than a bribe, I think. Yes. Matron, can we get Dee's meds, please? 1 moment. Who's our first guest?
So we actually have a first now, Sam. We have somebody who was only here a few weeks ago, and he made such an impact on us, and his stories were so fabulous. We just said, you know what? Why don't you just come back and do part 2? So this is Frazer Hines, part 2, and here he is. Hello, Don. Hello.
Hello. Hello, everybody.
Welcome back to our nest, darling. Welcome back.
Oh, lovely. Yeah, great to be back.
You're looking very, very handsome. What's different about you?
Oh, I've had a haircut. And I'm wearing glasses. I was wearing my glasses.
The double.
How do you
double
feel?
glaze.
How do you feel now coming back to normality, Fraser? Has it made? What was the first thing you did? Make it clean.
I went to the pub. Definitely went to the pub.
Good.
I find I have been drinking a lot in lock. I don't drink when I'm working, but in lockdown, I've been drinking a lot. In fact, my doctor rang me and said, "You're drinking too much, Mr. Hines, because the last urine test you gave me had an olive in it." So no, I'm glad to be out now and out and about on my bike and trying to get fit, because you stand on the scales. I mean, you're the same. You say, crikey. And I tried a suit on the other day, it doesn't fit me. And I thought, crikey, I'm going to a Warner Rats meeting soon. I've got to start getting into my suits again. And I can't wait to wear a shirt and tie. Can't wait to wear a shirt and tie.
Really? It's funny, isn't it? Because I was walking the other day and I saw this sort of bulge in my trousers. I thought I've never, ever had it around my waist. I've never had that spare tire, and I have one now. It's horrendous.
I know. It's frightening, isn't it? And people say, oh, it's our age, Fraser. You'll get rid of it. You think, what? Yeah. I'm going to try.
a bit of liposuction, I think, for me. Should we go in together?
Yeah.
You can get a twofer.
Exercise.
You can get a twofer, dear. You can get a twofer.
Yeah. Oh, God.
What's that word, Dee? What's that word?
Exercise. What about walking and, bending and sit-ups?
Yes.
No, don't understand. I can sit up to eat more, but that's about it.
So our lovely, you've got quite a lot in common with our new panellist.
Yes,
Sam.
Yes. A little birdie, or shall I say 3 rather big birdies, no offense, ladies, have told me that you were, once upon a time, a jockey. And that's like such an unusual occupation. But actually, my father, my late father, when he was a youngster, he wasn't very academic. So he quit school when he was 14 and he trained and worked with horses and became a jockey. So again, even if I didn't have brittle bones, I'd still be tiny, tiny because he was. However, as he passed quite early on, I never got to hear some of the stories. One that I did learn was that he had a bit of a tip off, and he told my uncle to put a bet on very quickly. Of course, my uncle did not put the bet on, and the horse won a significant amount of money. So, have you got any kind of naughtiness or any fun that you would like to share that goes on behind the scenes of being a jockey?
Well, talking of behind the scenes, I rode my old mare Excavator Lady at Redcar once, and the favourite was ridden by a beautiful lady jockey called Maxine Carvalho. She was drop dead gorgeous, and she was riding a bit stallion, and I'm riding my mare, and we jumped off 1.5 mile race, and I'm following her, and she got the most wonderful sort of figure to follow, and I'm following her. We come inside the final. I go to overtake, and my horse ducks back in again. She will not pass the stallion. So there's a stewards' inquiry, and they had me up. No, Hines, inside the final furlong, you didn't overtake. Why did you not? I said, have you seen Maxine Carvalho's backside? Would you want to pass it? And they struck their paws out,
darling.
and they threw it out, and they threw the stewards' inquiry, and we threw it out for your cheek, Hines, and they spluttered in their paws, and I got off of my cheek.
I love it. I love it.
Hysterical.
Probably not away with that now, though, would we? I'm not sure.
No. If you're trying to lose weight, I learned from, I think it was John Frankham, if you go in a sauna and you sweat and you can't sweat anymore, have a large brandy and it makes you sweat even more. You think putting alcohol back into it wouldn't work. So have a large brandy, or if I'm in a hot bath trying to lose weight, I have a hot bath, and then when I sweat enough, have a large brandy, and it starts the metabolism and you sweat more. So you can actually sweat and have a large brandy as well.
Don't do this at home without medical. We are. Who knows what we might have.
Is this a new form of diet? Clearly.
Yes. Don't try this at home.
Metabolism.
Does it work with Bailey's, darling? Because I do that with Bailey's. It doesn't have the same effect at all.
Yeah.
Get rid of Bailey and try somebody else.
Oh God, that is so
Moving
funny.
on.
Darling, you also breed horses, don't you? Because a very good friend of mine, did you know Albert Finney? Because I knew Albert really well, and but I didn't realise you also breed horses.
He got me into breeding horses. Watching him, if an actor can do it, I'll do it as well. And he was a lovely man. I met him, and we talked racing at Sandown. And the mare I was telling about, I retired her from racing, and I started to breed from her. And she bred the winners of over 50 races. But one day I drove my horse box down to Newmarket, and I jumped out, and the head stallion groom, I said, Roy, if a human being doesn't feel like, we can say, I'm sorry, darling, I've got a headache. Or what happens? I've driven 200 miles with my mare in the horse box. Supposing the stallion just doesn't feel like it. He said, Fraser, there's just powder. I put into his breakfast, mulch it up, and he eats the breakfast. And half an hour later, he's roaring like a bull. I don't know what it's called. It tastes awful. Oh,
it's awful. Seriously, Fraser, is that what they do?
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they put a little powder in it. I think it's powdered rhinoceros horn. So if you take too much, you start chasing Land Rovers.
I was going to say, what is it exactly?
Yeah.
I want some.
Do you know? Did you ever meet En Rytel when you were?
Yes, loads of time. En, yeah, he now lives in, I think, France, is it?
No, he lives in LA.
Does he?
Yeah,
I'm going to LA next February, so I'll look him up.
Yeah, look him up. But I know that he was, you guys, a little team of you, weren't there, of actors who were horse owners.
Davy Jones was another one. Him and I rode together at Cheltenham in a comic relief day, and he won the race. I said, I got beaten by a monkey. And afterwards, he said, Fraser, I've got another 2 horses running later. I just want to give an extra. Would you ride one in the race for me? So I actually rode for Davy Jones at Cheltenham in a race.
Wow.
And he said,
amazing.
Great. Oh, he was a lovely
Darling, I heard a little story about you. Not that I've ever done that, fallen asleep as Titania in a dream. But I heard you fell asleep during a live television show. Would you care to share that with us?
Yes, it was Emergency Ward 10 was live, Yes, was live.
That's going back.
Yes, going live from Highbury. And I was playing Tim Birch, a medical student, but had fulminating ulcerative colitis. So I was being operated on by John Carlyle and one of the other actors. And of course, my eyes are closed. I'm being operated on, and they're massaging my stomach and talking to me. So I fell asleep. I literally fell asleep with the hot lights. The next thing I knew, my dresser was saying, Fraser, I said, what? Fraser, out. What are you doing? Clothes. What clothes? Take your clothes off. What do you mean? Operate. Who? You're Tim Birch. Who? You are. I'm not. Yes. Put your pajamas on. Why? Because you're. And the scene's coming where you're. And he's putting my clothes on, my pajamas, taking the operate, threw me onto the bed, pulled the covers, and as the red light came on, Peter Madden, who was playing my dad, he came in. Hello, Tim. I was going. Hello. Father. And afterwards, we had a drink in the bar, and Cecil Petty, who was producing and directing, he said, Fraser, I've used you a lot in a lot of things. And you're not a bad actor, but that is the best acting I've ever seen. I really felt you didn't know where you were. I didn't have the heart to tell him that I didn't. I was just, flummoxed. I'd fallen asleep.
That is hysterical. Absolutely hysterical.
Yeah, I didn't know emergency ward turnout was live. I mean, how terrifying was that?
Yeah. Oh God! But yeah, what was it? Poor old Desmond Carrington. He had this horrible medical word to say, so he wrote in lipstick on the basin. So he was sort of supposed to be watching, whatever it was. And of course, they didn't have any water in for the rehearsals. And of course, then for the live show, he put water in the sink and he's talking away, German, and he went and he'd washed all the lipstick off. And he said, well, I think she's suffering from bombylitis. So, whatever, because he'd watched.
Wasn't it all those shows like Play for the Day and all those things were shot live?
Yes, there were all the early stuff like Silver Sword when I was 12, 13 years old and Huntington. They're all live TV, and you just had to get on with it. And I had a scene in the Silver Sword. I ate my box, get a mouse out, get out. Right, I had to get the mouse out, and I thought it was my Yeti. Oh, hey, doing a flash, right? And I had to get his mouse out, and the mouse disappeared. So I had to do this and say, "Here's Jimpy, my mouse." And the other little girl going, "Where is it?" I said, "It's here in my hand," And she gone. But that was a lovely thing about live television. I'm not frightened now when I do live stage. There's nothing, you feel that if anything goes wrong on stage play, nobody dies. If a surgeon makes a mistake, somebody dies.
Yeah.
I always say to people, first time to play, pantomime, if you make
and it happens all the time. People go wrong on stage all the time, and you just keep going. It doesn't matter, which is actually a great lesson to learn.
What's coming up for you now, darling? You do any more conventions? When can we see you in London? We miss you.
I'm waiting to come to London soon, but I'm going to Chicago in November, New York in the 19th, and then the following weekend, Chicago. Doctor Who.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah. But I was going to Chicago, Harriet, with an empty suitcase because it's the Black Friday on that weekend, and I just come back with jeans and shirts and pullovers. Marvelous, just an empty suitcase.
We'll give you a lift.
I just think it's fantastic, Fraser, that a job that you did 40 years ago is still paying off, isn't it?
I can't believe it. And people often, some actors go, oh, they don't want to be reminded of their early careers. I'm so proud of being Jamie and Joe Sugden. So proud because they've got me, nice house and whatever. They're very grateful.
Fabulous.
I don't know why some actors don't like it.
Apart from anything else, they get you with us, you see, the girls. I mean,
they certainly do,
how else could you be with us all?
Mind, can I afford to pay for 5 of you for lunch? I don't know.
Yes.
I'm only half a person. I don't eat much. It's fine.
And darling, you can sell off a wing of your house and then you can pay for lunch.
Yeah.
Just saying.
I'll get you some more red wine from Wines with Stories.
Can I just tell you one quick, very funny story?
Yes.
I don't know why I woke up. I don't know why I woke up thinking about my ex-wife. And this is true story. When we got married, the day after we got married, I woke up and I went to get out of bed. She said, "Where are you going?" I said, "I'm going to order breakfast." And she said, "Fraser, you can't go and have breakfast. I want you to consummate this marriage." And I said, "I can't eat clear soup at this time in the morning."
That's the end.
True.
Thank you,
Goodbye.
Fraser.
Thank you, dear. Bye.
Out on a laugh. True story. Bye.
Bye.
Love, girls. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
That is
not
extraordinary.
Well, I think actually after that, there could always be Frazer Hines Part 3. I mean, he's a great rabbiter, isn't he? Really.
I'll say.
Yeah.
But moving on from that, darling, I want to bring in our next extraordinary guest, friend, colleague. She's an actress extraordinaire. She is a director. Is there nothing she doesn't do? It's really irritating. Welcome into the nest, Mina Anwar.
Yay!
Hello, darling.
Hi, darling.
Welcome. I know this is a very busy afternoon for you because today you are launching The Importance of Being Earnest. Tell us all about it, darling.
So this is produced by the Lawrence Buckley Theatre in Huddersfield and the Dukes Lancaster, and it's a twist on a classic of The Importance of Being Earnest. So it's a northern contemporary version written by Yasmin Khan, and the amazing thing about it is that we created it all in about 4 weeks. And I was looking at them, my cat's knocking on the door, literally. My cat knocking on the door. And then we filmed it in 4 days, and it's like it's set in the acting world as well, so it's got a kind of twist on it. It's my homage to things that I've loved, like which is the live studio sitcom, which to me is the perfect hybrid of theatre and telly. And in this kind of climate that we're in, where we're not allowed to direct it in the theatre for live audience, and everything has to be created so that it can be filmed and put in so people can watch it. To me, that is the perfect hybrid of those two things, and something that I've been involved in like my whole career. You know, I've had such privilege.
You filmed in a theatre as well, didn't you, darling? As well as live streaming. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so we filmed 4 days shooting on stage. So I used the stage like a kind of like a sound stage, if you like. So the sets were built like a sound stage in a sitcom, rather than being in conjunction with the auditorium, so that we could film it. It was filmed with 2 cameras. I shot 95 pages in 4 days, and I'm in it as well, and got some fabulous friends like you, Harriet, to ring them up and go, can you be in this thing? It's amazing. Because I wanted to litter it, not only with like theatre royalty like Melanie Marshall, Gurjeet Singh, there's also Tom Dixon, it's got Zoe Iqbal, I've got a drag queen as well, Davina De Campo, but also with some of my comedy heroes like you, Hugh Dennis, Sindhu V, who I love, and the magnificent Paul Chahidi. So, and some of it was done remotely, like we could film you in your fabulousness, like you are now. And then we had just a little bit of rehearsal and just recorded it remotely. And then we spent 4 days doing the other stuff in the theatre, which was.
So how do people see it, sweetheart? How do they get hold of it tonight?
They can.
How long does it run for?
You can go on theimportanceofbeingearnest.com, and it's available from today till the 4th of May. So you get a ticket. How it works is, if you've never watched something in the comfort of your own slippers, you can get a ticket. It says £12, and it goes towards both of those theatres, because we're still trying to support the arts and save a lot of theatres who've had no money. And then you've got 48 hours to watch that link, and you can watch it with a drink, or put your Groucho Marx cigar in your hand, watch it with a bit of, and it's firmly, to me. And Dave Bintley, who's my partner actually, I did my first of these films last year called Road, that I filmed all on Zoom, and he did an original score. But he's done literally like an original score and a sound design for this. That makes me cry laughing, I've got to say. But also like really moving as well. There's bits of it that are so moving, because it's got lots of women in it like our age who I just think are hilariously brilliant, but not seen in a cardigan, or like having to like cover up, but they're just being magnificent in themselves, and I think that's brilliant. It's got fabulous sitcom people, fabulous comedy people, and just fabulous actors. Zoe Iqbal, Nikki Patel, who played my daughter in my nanosecond on Corrie, which was I can't remember it really. She played my daughter, so we haven't worked together since then, and she's brilliant. And it's got a really lovely kind of nod to the classic, because it has got some lines from Wilde in it, and it's got that style. It flips between a contemporaneous and a classic, and I've done that in the direction of the actors as well. And I really hope people enjoy it, because it's an absolute labour of love, and the team behind it who work hard in the theatre. They've been struggling all year, a lot of them, and just to get together to do something like this, ambitious as it was, it's been a journey, and I've learned so much about myself. It's so much about myself. It's not funny.
Brilliant.
Nina, I got really excited when you opened your mouth, and I mean that with love, because I realised that we're both from.
It's a team, isn't it?
It is. Your radiant beauty. But it's your accent. I can already hear my accent getting thicker as I listen to you. We are Lancashire lasses, so I feel like we should pick up the Northwest massive.
Yes, definitely.
But to be honest, one of my biggest challenges and bugbears being a disabled artist is the fact that, a lot of barriers are in my way, and a lot of non-disabled artists play disabled roles. So I'm very open about saying that until there's an equal playing field, don't take roles away from already marginalised.
Absolutely,
actors,
yes.
And I suppose you've coming from the Northwest. I found that, even coming from there, the opportunities to act growing up. I didn't even know where an acting school was. I only heard about the ones down south. And being, a woman from I suppose, a marginalised background, how do you feel about that? And how can we challenge that? Do we need to get quotas? How can we encourage more broadcasters, more theatres to be a bit more conscious about bringing everyone together and giving more opportunities to that young Northwest kid that is told, nah, you're not going to make it because you're working class.
It's really interesting. I mean, and to me, they're not even like new questions. To me, I've lived and breathed that my whole career. And this last month, March, is my 30th year in the industry. And bearing in mind that I was the first Northern Asian woman at my drama school, and it's a really famous drama school. And before that, there had not been one. And that was in 1991, training in acting and musical theatre. So, I mean, it's an extraordinary thing. And years ago, which it's amazing. I live and breathe this stuff because I think, like I've always said, is that if you have the skill set and you have the confidence to be able to interpret that your artistry to anyone, it should be an absolute open playing field. It should be a level playing field across the board, because you can enter any arena, whatever you are. And but the other thing that I find interesting is what narrative we're playing out. So to me, I'm as much Northern. I was born and bred in the Northwest, in Accrington. My narrative is Northern. My other narrative is being Asian, and my other narrative is being woman. Or any other, but they're narratives to me. They're not boxes, but they also, you can look at who you are. And I don't think that anyone should represent everybody. Like, I don't think you should represent all disabled people. And I certainly don't represent all Asians. And I certainly don't represent all people of the North or working class. That's another demographic that kind of gets lost, and that is not represented enough. So it's not just about colour or race or ability or gender. It's about your demographic. Who did you grow up with loads of money? Did you go to Eton? All of those things. And I think what's interesting is that we should be looking at individually, like what do you want to do? Have you got the skill set? First, it should always be of the highest quality. But I think unless there is more representation in the upper echelons of people making programs, producing them, directing them, creating content, then you're never going to have people having a conversation with your cultural context. And there should be someone who represents all of that cultural context if you want to do something that is about that narrative. Otherwise,
absolutely,
it's not
really
very good.
That was honestly, that was so lovely to listen to. It really
So
was.
brilliant.
It was so concise and brilliant. But I think
absolutely,
the thing is that what you
You're
said,
right.
I'm sorry to jump in on this, but what you did say, I was thinking, well, the most important thing here is look how difficult it's been just being a woman without everything else coming in on top.
I was just about to say that, woman of a certain age, the parts, we've all got that thing, but obviously
Samantha's a bit younger than us, darling. I'm bitter to say it, but
well, I know. Yes, you are much younger.
I don't even think of a certain age. I think just being a woman.
I hate that phrase as well.
But it's all those things, isn't it?
I literally got a breakdown the other day, saying literally saying, oh, that's all right, because such and such a man is older. He could be going out with a woman of a certain age. And I went, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
I said, why can't you just say what age group you want and then just let people in? Like I'm 51, right? 51. I never get 51-year-old parts to play, you know, because I've got good genes and my mum was from India, you know, so that's really good.
You look fantastic.
But what's interesting is you go, but I am 51. So I am that. I'm not pretending to be that. So why can't you have somebody that is 51 in your program that doesn't wear a cardigan or has, like, you know,
exactly.
yourself to
I mean, I'm sure we've all had it. I have it all the time. People say to me, "Oh, you know, you can't go up to that part because you're not old." And you say, "But I am that age. Do I have to prove it to you?" We don't walk down the street with a thing over our head saying how old we are. The fact that we don't.
And also fiction, you know, we're in the business of creating fiction, you know, not only representing like social demographic things, politics that we want to look at, you know, highlighting certain things that are underrepresented on screen, but we're also in the business of creating an imaginary fiction, a future which we want to step into as well. So that it means that having, like, I got a thing the other week, like a few years ago, that said that the best, apart from the fact that being Asian, a lot of the time you do get the best friend part, because you will never play the protagonist unless you write yourself into one, that you'll get the best friend. So you think, and they go, yeah, so that best friend though, if you're with a glamorous protagonist woman, that best friend will be frumpy, she'll wear something, she's not quite so glamorous. And if she's not married or with anyone, she's got to be like dowdy. And you go, why can't she just be fab and be single? Why can't that be that's a reality? Yeah. I know loads of fabulous women who literally look after themselves, want to have pride in themselves, but are not the appendage of a partner. And
exactly.
They go,
yeah.
Who's going to be?
You know, as Debbie said, I've got to say that you have put that so brilliantly, as I've never heard before. Actually, I have to say to commend you on that. I mean, to me, that is absolutely so fabulous the way you've said that. And also talking about the skill set, you have got the skill set, again, to die for, because you've done so many amazing things and still doing, like directing, acting, musical theatre, you know, writing. I mean, it's extraordinary, and you're so inspirational in every way.
Thank you.
And darling, tell me, is there anything that you love doing more than anything else, or do you love all of it, or what do you think?
I'm very much, like I was saying, I'm very much in the moment. So
Yeah.
I'm amazed myself sometimes at my own bravery and courage to take on massive things, because I in my head, I think that's doable. But then every time I've done something, like a few years ago, I started directing professionally when I was 50, and I directed a musical and choreographed the whole musical. And I trained in contemporary dance when I was younger, when I was doing my A-levels, and I loved dance. I do a lot of physical theatre. I love being able to create characters with physical kind of psychological gesturing. So to do a whole musical and be given that to do and direct it, you do sit there and go, is that something I can do? And then you do it and you go, wow, I didn't even know that was something I could do. And it's the same with this one, directing this and being in it. You go, how do I work that out? And then suddenly you're in it and you go, oh, wow. Because I think if you're in flow, and I love being in the flow of creativity, and it really causes me no end of like consternation, which I think every artist has, because you have to have something you just kind of catch yourself in a moment and go, you know, is this something I can do? Am I going to fulfill it? And then you do, and then but it has to be a journey. Everything, I think it's the way is the aim, really, for me. The way is the aim. I'm not too interested in reviews, and I remember working with the Belarus Free Theatre for a week, who are, you know, they represent a lot of the dissidents in Russia, and dealing with like real things like human rights, you know. And I remember them saying that if you're going to do something, do it to the best quality, and don't worry about who's watching necessarily, but create something that you want people to watch. but be brave enough to push the boundaries of it so that you don't get stuck in being a sheep.
Yes.
And then going, so that last thing, they got 5 stars for that. So I'll create something that's like that. You just go, no, be true to your own vision. And sometimes that can really cause you a lot of, well, could have a nervous breakdown.
Oh my God! No, you've also said things to me. Bravery, rising to the challenge. You know, taking risks. I find you so exciting.
Mina, I want to ask you now. Tell me about The Worst Witch, because I know you're going to be impressed. I know I'm going to impress you more than you've ever been impressed, possibly. Yes. That in the original version of The Worst Witch, my kids were so impressed. They used to go to school saying, my mummy's in this. And do you know who I played?
Who?
The cat.
The cat. Oh my God. Everyone, I just love that. The cats, and we had like real cats, because I was in this revamp and the second series, and Jill, the writer, had actually written this character, Miss Mould. So I was played like an art teacher witch who had the most, I think, spectacular entrance of any character I've ever played ever, where she appeared as a block of stone and then like morphed out of this stone, like out of this clay, because she was this like hippie kind of mad art teacher witch who had like a hidden agenda. And if you've not watched it, it's brilliant. Her journey was like fabulous throughout. But of all the things, when people just go, I think of all the things I've done in life, the kids' programs I've done, like the Sarah Jane Adventures, which is like the 10th year today of Liz Sladen passing away. Well, that's today, actually. It's an extraordinary day today, 19th of April. And all the kids' stuff. And also, you know, when you grow up and then those kids grow up and they go, oh my God, I used to watch you in such and such. And that's like me, you know, like if I saw like Derek Griffiths, who I used to watch on like Playway, and you just go, my God, that was so important to me, what you brought to me as a kid. And I love being able to give that back.
Do you know our previous guest today was Frazer Hines?
Oh, I love Frazer Hines.
He was just on just before you. How very weird.
Did he talk about the menopause?
He did. Constantly, actually. He's very boring talking about that, but no, I love Liz Sladen as well. She was an amazing woman.
Yeah, and today is like really, it's an extraordinary day today, because it's 10 years since she passed, and I still get lots and lots of people who commemorate today. Somebody doing a massive run for cancer research today in her honour. And it's just amazing, you know, on Instagram, we just get all the people sharing pictures of her. And she was just, she was a very inspirational woman to me. And even in her kind of final year when we didn't know she was ill, but she just still did her own stunts, and she was an absolute inspirational woman. And I've been around a lot of inspirational women actually in my career. And I know like Harriet, when we did the Vagina Monologues where we met, you know, that was an extraordinary amount of people, women came through that.
It was an extraordinary piece to create something that was not taking the piss out of anything, were women's voices.
Well, literally.
And it wasn't anti-male either. It was very important. It was about celebratory truth. And it wasn't, we had an amazing time doing that.
And I remember because we were at the Arts, weren't we? We were barefoot with the little red things on. And apparently someone came to the box office and went, so this is Vagina Monologues, right. Look, not like a theatre person at all. Came in and left halfway through and went, but there weren't any vaginas in it. And he thought, because it was in Soho, that we were some kind of porn thing going on in the corner. It was well disappointing. Three women with no shoes on, dressed in black, talking. How boring was that?
Well,
listen, Mina, thank you so much for coming on our show. Thank you so much for doing our secret thing that we did yesterday, which we can't talk about yet because it's not. But Mina, you've been wonderful and a fantastic sport, and I can't wait to actually touch you in real life.
Oh, one day we'll all hug. I know I couldn't even hug Harriet at the end of her magnificence, and Harriet's magnificence in this piece is just a joy to be
I'll pay you later, darling. Thank you.
Thank you, Mina.
Thank you. Thanks, darling.
Enjoy.
Bye, darling.
Bye.
An amazing Monday. We've had Sam in. We've had amazing guests. I feel set up for this evening now.
I do.
I think
So
Beanie is about to bark. Sam, thank you.
Oh.
Thank you for being part of us.
Oh,
We hope
no,
you come back
thank you.
again soon.
Thank you for having me. But I
You're
had to
gorgeous.
mute myself as well because the cats started trying to eat one another, making loud noises. Right with you there.
And darling, before you go, keep chanting.
Well,
Oh yes,
Okay.
Wednesday. We have Joe McKeldry.
Yes.
Exciting.
We'll see you
So we'll
there.
see you then. Thanks, Sam.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
No chanting, Dean. No
Wednesday.
chanting. No
Chanting.
chanting.
No.
No, don't chant. Don't chant.
No.